more people coming. It's
Well, I thought there was about 7 registered. So
yeah, I don't know what happens.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Nonetheless, so Joe, how this is working, the idea behind this one is that we're going to take a big chunky keyword that we want to rank for, and then we're going to look at 7 other easy ones and then 2 medium ones. And the idea behind it is that I'm calling it 3 horizons, and 3 horizons is based on a business term where you're looking at something in terms of, if you're trying to build a business and you say, well, we want to get to that, but we can't get to that yet because we don't have the resources, we don't have the money, we don't have the manpower. It's a great idea, but we're not there yet. And there's the midterm, which is kind of like, well, it's coming up, we'll be there soon. And then there's the now horizon, which is here. We can do that. We can get that sorted. We can get that executed. The issue being with 3 horizons, or business in general, and I'll come back to why this talks about keywords, is that with business in general, that if we forget about that 3rd horizon and we don't bring that into our play and into our work strategy now, we'll never really get there, or we'll just constantly live in the now, and we miss out on that 3rd strategy or that 3rd piece of our business growing. And the keywords are the same, because if you look at your website, or not yours specifically, but websites in general, if it's a brand new website, you don't have the authority to be chasing any keywords in that 3rd horizon, because you can go try and rank for those big chunky keywords and you won't rank for them. You just don't have that authority. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So how we're going to look at this is that we're going to look at the keywords that you can absolutely rank for, and that'll be the now horizon, the medium tier keywords, which are like maybe not, but probably not, and then that absolutely cannot. And how we're going to look at that is we're going to break it up into the 3 horizons based on that principle of the 3 horizons. So I'm going to share my screen now, and we go through them, and then there's to ask questions at any time. It's just you, so you and I can have a chat. Any questions at any time, go ahead. Don't wait for me to stop. Feel free to just jump in. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Cool. I'm going to share my screen, and then we can chat on that. So I'm going to share this one for now. Tell me when you can see my screen.
All right. Yep, I can see that.
Cool. So you can see on this one here, this is basically our keyword research. And the idea behind this is that this is an area where you go and you have keyword ideas. You would dump them in here, and then when you pull them across to approved, then that means that they're going to bounce through to our actual keyword calendar, or a content calendar, and then the content writer, the SEO, if somebody gets a notification saying that these have been approved, this is what we're going to write about. So that's why we start here. So it's a case of, well, yes, we agree with that, and it's ready for review, blah, 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 and we pull them across there. That's the idea with this. And when you if you've done the keyword research, with content calendar, of course, this will make a bit more sense. But for anybody that hasn't, that's why they're ready and they're approved. Once it's approved, it gets pulled across the content calendar, and we start to work on them. But for now, just agreeing them. And what we're going to do with this.
Is this a separate URL, or is it part of your hosting?
This is completely. Yeah, this is Aura. This is anything. You can do any project management suite. That's the idea behind it. This you can do with any project management suite. This is just a board, and you can do any one of them. You just set up your like a Cabana board, like Trello, Asana, Monday, any one of those.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Yeah. And the idea behind it that this is the strategy, but it's easily implemented across any one of those boards is the idea behind this. So and again, this is just a template. Now I'll share this template with. I have actually shared this template on the group. But you can either just use it in Aura, because Aura is free. But if you're using something else, you just implement it across to yours, and the strategies exactly there. The idea behind it is a strategy of using cards, boards. And then also when you go into each one, how we can use tags is the other behind that. You can put timelines. Once you're in the content calendar, you put timelines, etc. But again, I'm not going to get into that too much today. But any questions you have, just shout, and I'll explain them if you haven't done that course. So the strategy with this is that we look at our three horizons. And if you can see that we've got this big old chunky keyword here, high competition keyword, that can be absolutely anything. But let's think top tier keyword. So if we talking about a keyword that you cannot rank for, and that's normally something that you probably still need to rank for. So what we do with that is how we position this is that's our top tier keyword. I want to rank for that keyword. What I'll go and do is to say, well, I want to rank for that keyword. What are the related keywords that I can find that I can actually rank for? And that's then our long tail keywords. So we've spoken about that term before. Long tails, yeah.
Yep.
So there's long tail and then there's medium tail keywords also. So a lot of people will talk about just getting in and getting your long tail keywords because long tail is the way to go. Google's changed the way it does things. It doesn't just rank for long tail keywords. You should actually start to try and push more for medium tail. But as a site that's brand new or scaling up, you want to also look at the likes of still having those long tail keywords in there. And how we do that is if we go and look at a big top tier keyword, and let's call it apples. We want to rank for apples. If we want to rank for apples, there is no chance we're going to rank for apples because there's 1,000,001 other companies trying to rank for apples. What we might look at is dast apples as a medium, medium keyword. But again, dast apples is quite big. So how about prepackaged organic dast apples? That's a long tail keyword. So if we're saying that our high competition keyword here is apples, medium tail here is prepackaged apples or dast apples, then this would be our long tail there. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. So what I do with this is, and how we do this is, how we position this is each quarter. We decided how many blogs we can put out each quarter, and if we say we can put out 10 blogs each quarter, we break it down to 70, 20, 10%. So what we're doing is, things in business, if this is our far horizon, we're not going to rank for that keyword. But two things, we have to not forget about it. So we go and build it either as a pillar page or a service page, because sometimes those high top tier keywords are actually service pages. So for example, if you're a plumber and you want to rank for plumber Perth, very, very tough keyword to rank for, or electrician Perth, again, very tough keyword to rank for, or even, for you guys, for in meeting room Perth, that's your top tier keyword, difficult to rank for. Then it's your medium tail keywords that you want to bring in to bolster that, and then your long tail to assist with that. And your medium tail would maybe be the likes of other blog posts, and then so I'll show you what I've done here, in the sense that if this is a high competitive keyword, you see I've tagged in pillar page high competition. So pillar page high competition, I'd write one of those, and for every one of those, I'll write 2 medium and 7 low competition, because I've got very, very good chance of ranking for the low ones. And the point is that I do rank. I must try and read these need to be competitive. I need to be competitive in that space for these to be justified, so they're not a wasted effort. And then these then talk about these two, and then these two then talk about that one.
Okay, so do you do this for each content piece?
Say that again, Joe.
Do you do this for each content piece?
Ideally, yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, the idea behind it is, and I'm not saying you have to do 7, 2, and 1. Ideally, you do, because it kind of keeps that structure. It keeps you in check, and especially if you're working with a team. I know that this is going to be 1,000 to 3,000 words. I know that these are going to be 500 to 1,000, and these can be 300. Because if you have a look for a low competition keyword, low competition, and I'm doing it as a blog, probably 300 to 500 words ideally. If you can do more, awesome, but 300 to 500 words minimum. Yeah. Whereas for something that's medium competition, I'm looking more along the lines of 500 to 2,000 even, or 500 to 1,000 minimum. And I probably need some backlinks. I probably need to do some outreach on those. And then so if you see on that, I've gone to medium, and again, there'll probably still be blogs on that. And then so I've tagged them as medium there, and it's a blog. So, and then the high competition will be a pillar page or a service page, and it's a high competition. So it's going to be at least 3,000 words. It's going to basically, this one here will probably encompass all of these topics here on some level. So if we're talking about the likes of flow space, for example, and we're talking about hot desking, this one might be about the meeting room, because it's medium level. This one might be about a variation of hot desking or meeting rooms again. And then these might talk about the facilities in some way of working from home, or the difficulties that, or the reasons people might want to go to a hot desking or a meeting room place. And that's the idea behind those. And these would generally be quite low competition. So for example, I saw, I was looking at a keyword that I'm looking at, networking from home. It's got 30 volume, it's 0.1. It's a fantastic keyword to rank. So if we said networking from home was our keyword, it's got decent volume. It's probably more like a medium keyword. And then, but obviously, ultimately, would be our desk, our hot desking. So networking from home, you see how they're not related, but they are related, because you can talk about hot desking as with you as a network from home. Don't network from home. Come into us and meet with us, or those medium. And I don't want to get too much on subjects because I want to keep to the strategy. And I don't want to confuse things with subjects. But for flow space, it makes a lot of sense to talk about networking from home, and as it's on a tangent, bring them in and say, well, don't network from home, or network from home and meet people, and then you can network from home, blah, blah, blah. You get the idea. It's kind of a medium level.
Yep. So with that, I can use different words that are around networking, so collaboration, all those types of things.
Say that again for me, Joe.
So if you use, like, the keyword is going to be networking, but could you use like an associated word, like collaborating? So does that work in the same basis or not?
Yeah, so if we so I'm going to throw the word topic cluster in there. And topic clusters is a little bit different, but basically what we're trying to just cluster all these keywords together. So let me show you how I map this, and that might help.
Okay.
I'll stop sharing this one and move across to the other one. So can you see this one?
It's just loading. Oh, yep, like a mind map. Yep,
yeah, it is.
Got it.
Mind map. So if you see that this is our high competition, then we have our low competitions, and then we have our medium competitions. Generally speaking, this is a pillar page, 3,000 to 5,000 words, and then these will all link to that. Even a medium keyword probably also going to link to that, and then each one of these, that one will link to that one, yeah, and then that one will link to that one, like that, and then both two of these will then link back to that one, to like that, and each one of these will be the same. Basically, in some way, there needs to be a very relevant connection between all of them, and then they all link to each other. So you've built a mind map or a topic cluster.
Okay.
Yeah. Now the topic cluster, when the real term of topic cluster is more along the lines of the same thing being asked in different ways. That's when we use the term topic cluster, that's what we mean. Okay. But this in effect is a topic cluster. We call this a silo. This is a silo where it's the main topic is a hard keyword to rank for. We go and write low competition keywords or lower competition keyword topics for that. They link back, and then also medium tail keywords also link back to the high competition. Now, again, a high competition can be pillar page, and a pillar page means that it's a big topic that encompasses all or most of these, but most definitely on some level is definitely related to these. It's a related keyword in some way. So if this is fruit, there's apples, pears, blah 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 blah, and then they're all related to this in some way. So
Okay.
Yeah,
sorry, I was just trying to work out how we would do that across all the different people that come into Flow Space, like in their businesses. Or is that different again in backlinking to them? Or is it just their link to us? Is that's where they work from?
So this for me wouldn't necessarily. So you're talking about a backlink from somebody else's website to your site?
Yeah, but even just having that cross correlation that they're coming in and working here, although we have very vast different peoples and skill sets and things like that.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the point then, actually. So if you're talking about this one here, for example, that could be, and you want to talk about the likes of a tribe. We talk about tribes. We talk about the type of person. So that could be a stay-at-home mum.
Right.
Yeah? Then you write a topic for hot desking for that stay-at-home mum, something very niche. very niche for stay-at-home mums. Yeah. And then you could write something here for the likes of architects.
Right.
I think these are too broad, these are too niche, but just as an example, you could write something for architects. But ultimately, all of them are about working from home and the difficulties of working from home and why you need a desk.
Okay.
Yeah. And then from on the medium side of things, obviously it'd be way more relevant, maybe not quite so niche, a bit of a broader topic, more difficult to rank for, more volume, and that you write that one, and then maybe this one is 10 tips, so a bit more of a broad one again, 10 tips for to work from home, and then these here can link to it, because when you're talking about your stay-at-home mum, oh, we've written an article about the 10 tips of saying how to be productive at home over here. Yeah. And then on that 10 tips, you could be like, oh, and stay-at-home mums battle, blah, blah, blah. Oh, wait, we've written an article about that. You have that internal linking. So within your copy, you have an internal linking structure, okay, that uses anchor text. And anchor text means that it is a specific keyword. So an anchor text is crafted keyword that talks about wherever you're linking to. Does that make sense?
All right, and just bear with me because I'm going to have to interrupt you because I've got some people leaving. But you carry on. But if I go like this, I'm just saying goodbye to some members.
No, that's cool. I can carry on talking if you need to get some stuff done. So the idea behind anchor text is, and why we call it anchor text, not just a link, is because it's crafted and we're using keywords. And we're not trying to be spammy about it, but we are trying to be descriptive and we are trying to be clear about where they're going to. So if you're struggling as a stay-at-home mom, because let's talk about this one here. If you're struggling as a stay-at-home mom to be organized, we have written an article here about being organized at home. Yeah. Now, to be honest, I wouldn't be talking about organized at home necessarily when it comes to what you guys are doing. I appreciate that. This is the keyword research that needs to be done. But ultimately, 10 tips of why a hot desk or remote working makes so much sense. Or the difficulties of working from home. And
too easy. Thanks, guys. All right, see you later. All right,
cool.
Sorry.
That's cool. So does that make sense? What the strategy is here? The strategy
I think so.
Is to your top tier, hard to rank keyword that a company might not rank for. We're going to write 7 very possible to rank for, very likely to rank for. Those ones where you go, shit, that was worth it. And then you got 2 medium where it's like, oh, if I get that, that'd be awesome. But if I don't, it's fine. It's part of the process. And those all link back to our hard to rank for keyword. Yep. Cool. Make sense?
Yep. Good.
Cool.
Yep.
So that's essentially. Sorry.
Once I get that actual blog page on our website, we'll be laughing.
Yeah, but that's the point. That's the point too, that we think about what those pages are, and makes us think about what those pages are and what those top tier keywords are before we start to put them in practice. It also gives us a content strategy immediately that we can share with the team and say, this is what we should be writing about, and this is how we should be writing about it. So, and that the behind that is that's fine. So, with this process, where would we start? Well, to be honest, I'd probably start with that one. And if I'm going to put them on a quarter, because that's probably going to be my service page or a pillar page. Am I going to rank? Probably not. Probably. More than likely not. But I would, from that, what I would do, I would go, so you see how it's now moved. So it's starting to change things over. So what we do with that, we're ready for review. People get a review. I go there and I throw it to approved. When I throw in a approved, it'll pull across to my content calendar. So I won't do that. But that's the idea.
All right, sorry.
Yeah.
That screen up. Or did you go back to the other one?
I'm still showing the mind map. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry. See, this is why new people laugh, Joe. Otherwise, I'd still be talking.
I'm like, oh, I've missed something.
Okay, sharing now. Tell me when you can see the screen.
Okay, yep.
Okay, cool. So if I was going to start with a keyword, it would probably be my top tier keyword, because it's more than likely a service page that you aren't going to rank for. So it's plumber perth or perth electrician, something like that. To rank, but I have to have them, don't I? So yes, absolutely ready for review. That we need to do that. Then what do? I'd probably then, for my quarter, I'd probably go through all these. These would then all bolster that one there. So as the quarter goes on, we'll go through. So then, but like I said, if I pull this to here and I put it in approved, this will disappear. It'll pull across my content calendar piece. And I'm not going to risk moving that now, because being live, I won't find it. I won't find my way back. So you get the idea. If I pull it through to here, boom, my SEO or my copywriter gets a notification. Boom, you need to start writing this piece for us. This will have my SEO brief in it, etc. That's the idea. So, but that's where I would start. I said, boom, let's start writing with that. And then for the rest of my quarter, I would then go and support this piece of content with my medium tail keywords and my long tail keywords. Now, if you had a higher authority site that had more authority in the industry, you could probably have an even higher authority keyword, and then even, maybe even more medium and less low. But ultimately, the ratio there still kind of moves the same, because you're just aiming for even higher competition keywords. So the ratio should probably still be the same. And the idea behind this is eventually you just write. Once you've got a massive authority in the industry, you just write. If that makes sense, and you don't worry about authority anymore, and you just worry about relevance and volume. But when you're starting out, you absolutely have to consider what the competition is. So for a starting out or a scaling up SEO strategy, I would stick to this ratio, because if you get hung up on low competition keywords, you probably won't rank anyway, because you're not bringing that authority, you're not bringing that really good quality content. And also, if you only focusing on the high competition keywords, you're not going to rank either, because it's going to take forever. So your team's going to get frustrated. Your team's not getting leads. No one's feeling that we're doing all this work, we're not getting anywhere. What's working? So it's that give and take. So 7 low competition pieces, 2 medium, and 1 high. And generally, as I say, pillar page or a service page. So that's that. That's generally that one sorted. Start with that one, then you do your mediums, and they're related in some way, and then you go on to your low ones. So then your low ones you can pretty much pump out pretty quickly anyway, because they're low competition. 300 to 500 words, you can do that in half hour if from them. But also your high competition then also tells you what these should be, rather than trying to find ideas. You start with your high competition. I want to be a plumber in Perth. What am I looking at? Leak detection. I can hear dripping. Those are low. They're not low competition. I've checked, but in theory, those could be low competition. You go and then look at problems that your high competition keyword solves. Yeah. Cool.
All right. So definitely need to look at like our competition and see, like, would you do that just by going onto their websites and just checking like what content they've got on
competitors?
Yeah,
you could do, absolutely. That's absolutely. Competitor research is always such a good place to start. You could go to competitors and see where they're getting the most traffic from. And then if they're getting massive traffic from the likes of a hot desking, or again, you and I have looked at the different keywords, so we know that it's hot desking. We've looked at that. But let's say they were getting keywords from traffic from another keyword, and you didn't have, because FlowSpake has authority with hot desking at the moment. But if you didn't have authority in a new keyword that was now taking off, was now trending, what you do, see how they do, what keyword that is. You build that keyword potentially either into a service page or a landing page, so a new landing page, or a pillar page along those lines. And then you would look at how they then get in traffic to their keyword. Are they just doing it via outreach and socials or backlinks? And if they're backlinking, what anchor text are they using for that backlinking? So you go and look at who's linking back to them, and when they're linking to them, what language are they using? Yeah. So we look at that. And again, I'll show you those techniques. Or, when you find a good example, maybe we go through it. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, we can go through it. Let's go through it. A good example of that. So if you find someone that you feel is a good competitor, let's kind of look at that, and we can tear that to pieces. And I can give you ideas on that. And then the idea behind it. So once you have that keyword and you want to rank for it, you don't have the authority, because that's the important one. If you have the authority, you would just write. If you don't have the authority, you then go and see what's related to that, because then that gives you keyword research. You go and take that keyword, you throw it into I'm just going to move off of here, stop sharing. You throw it into Google. So you throw the keyword into Google, and you see what shows up in Google. And number one, you look in the keyword search, you look in the related searches, you look in the FAQ, the frequently asked questions section of Google. You look at all of those. And then when you look at all of those, you then go and also look at the competitors. You open up this competitors pages. And this is all in my keyword research piece. So don't worry too much on this. But when you look at that, you then look at their H1s, their H2s. You look at how they're ranking. How are they ranking? Are they ranking with a video? Are they ranking with images? Are they ranking with a listicle? Like, in other words, like 10 best practice, blah, 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 something like that. They're ranking. And then that gives you all your research for your 7 other articles on that. So the idea behind that is that, number one, you have your top tier keyword. You now have a strategy. You know what you're focusing. You know what your target is. You then immediately know who your competitors are, because they're the ones that are ranking for that top tier keyword. And then you go and look at all those top tier keyword competitors, and you look at how they're ranking. What are they doing? And then all of that links back to your main keyword. And then in your own website, you then structure and build your own internal linking, where you take those 7 low competition, those 2 medium, they all link to each other, and then the top tier one then links out to each one of those also, where possible. It's not always possible, but when you can do best, at least half, I'd say, ideally. And then all of those link back to your top tier keyword. All of them. It's very important. So they link back to each other, and they link out to the top tier keyword. So every article should have at least 2 internal links, and you build that silo. So basically, we look at it. I use the term link juice. Be careful that a lot of people use the term link juice in SEO. It's a term that's thrown around a lot, but so don't research it per se. We'll talk about it in the group more. But basically, what we're trying to do is we're trying to build the plumbing. If you are building plumbing and you have a closed circuit and you have one pipe that just kind of goes off to nowhere, you're losing that authority. We're trying to keep that link juice internally. Yeah. The idea is it's just good practice. It's just good practice. Make sure everything links back. And Google has a very so basically what it is that the reason we bring it all back to the top page is we want Google to understand specifically exactly what we're trying to rank for. So we've used a keyword in our H1s. We've used it in our meta description. We've used it in our content. And then all of these 7 low competition and 2 medium competition are all linking back and also saying that's what we're trying to rank for. So then also it's this very, very clear idea that we are trying to rank for hot desking. And is the idea. And then also from the hot desking, now all of a sudden that hot desking page all of a sudden has 9 internal links. Never mind whatever external links you have. Internal links are just as important as external links, if not more, in the sense that they don't maybe bring as much authority as external links, like people talking about you. But what they do bring is a network that users can move around your site quite easily, because it's also that's what those internal links are about. So within that silo, it makes sense to link in that silo and show users where to go. You may also be interested in this. Here you go. So what does that do? That brings up your page time in terms of users on site. People are on your site for longer because, here's another one. Here's another one. They get more and more information from you. And if they're relevant and they work, they will hang around. And then Google also has a perfect roadmap of what works, of what directions to go, how everything works together, and what you are trying to rank for. Yeah.
Okay. Yep. So all the Google My Business and everything, the performance reports that come through from that.
Yeah.
That gives you all the keywords that are ranking and everything.
So Google My Business, for example, that's obviously is separate to your website.
Yes.
Yeah. That can give you ideas, absolutely. And you definitely do not want to ignore those. If you are already, so we call this on the brink. If you are already ranking for a keyword or getting traffic from a keyword, absolutely. If you go and have a look at those and call them on the brink, and you see, well, I'm ranking for, but I don't have a dedicated page for it, or did make one. That's the idea behind that. So get a dedicated page put together for that. If you
Now
see the page,
sorry, where are you saying to put that dedicated page? On the website or?
yes,
Okay.
absolutely on the website. If you already have a page that is ranking for that keyword, have a look and see, well, is that what I intend to rank for? Was that page intended to rank for the keyword? So in other words, if meeting rooms is ranking for hot desking, why? Have a look at that. Let's address that. But again, you be very careful about how you do that, because if a page is ranking for something, we'd be very, very specific about how we do things. You don't want to break that. So what I would do instead, I wouldn't go to necessarily adjust the meeting rooms if it's ranking for hot desking. I'd go and put a hot desking page together and get that page to rank higher, and I would link across to that page. Yeah.
Okay.
The idea is that that's a very specific use case, but the idea behind it is that you do that. You have a look and you see what you're ranking for, how you're ranking for it, and what you can do to improve that.
Okay.
Don't just, oh, we're ranking for that, let's go write a blog. Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
Cool.
All right. So that will be interesting once we go live, how that all comes together.
It is, and that's the thing about SEO. SEO is not magic. It's a science. It's a bit of an art, but it's definitely a science. And it's just doing things methodically. And every time you do something, just think about, I'm doing it. Because that's often the issue we have with this, is we go like, we're writing blogs for, well, that sounds like a good idea. Let me go write that blog. And that's fine, but no page ranks on its own. It just doesn't. For very, very, very low competition keywords, maybe, but no page ranks on its own. It needs internal links from other sites. It needs a structure so Google knows what's going on, and it needs external links. So, like when we said with that mind map, when we have a look at the internal linking is important, but then so is the external links that come in. The higher the competition, the more important it is that we have those frameworks in place. So it's a structure. And it's a strategy. Every keyword is a strategy and has a strategy behind it. None of them are independent and live in a vacuum.
Okay. Okie dokie. All right.
Did you have any questions on any of that?
Yeah, probably will all come a bit more clearer once we get the website up and running and we start actually working with it. So yeah, I'm just waiting on some photos and stuff to come back. And then,
okay,
we can
cool.
Get to the next step.
So what I would do now, I would download the keyword research. This here. I'll show you real quick. I would download this to start. So there's this one, and then there is also. There's two. There's the content calendar, which is this one.
Content calendar.
So you'll see this one in our course on keyword research. There's this one, and then there's also the keyword research. So we're now going to take this here. This isn't set up, but the minute I go to take this to here, I set it up that the action is that it moves the card to. I'm not going to do it now. It's going to be long-winded. But how it works is that they connected. That when I go move this keyword to here, boom, that one there. That then goes and moves it to our content calendar, and in our content calendar here. And then we know that these are approved ideas. These are ready to go. Yeah.
Yep.
And then we've been researching, on hold, writing, for edit, scheduled, published. And
okay.
So it gives your team, and if you're doing it yourself, it keeps you accountable. But otherwise, it gives your team the idea that, boom, researching. So as the SEO, boom, that gets into researching. I know that when that hits researching, I start researching it. You can put a notification in place, and your SEO knows that let's start researching for that one. Let's have a keyword research brief for that. And then from there, on hold, could be for any reason. Otherwise, it pulls across there. Your copywriter then takes from researching, they're writing it, and then from there, edits basically comes back to everybody. Guys, have a look. What do you think? Or writing edits, and then scheduled for such and such a day, and then boom. Yeah.
Okay. Whole new world.
Yeah, but it's a process, and it's once you've got the process in place, it just kind of works together. It tells you exactly what you need to do next. You know exactly what needs to next because you just follow the system.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Perfect.
Okay. Joe, go and get a keyword. We know what your keyword is anyway. You know, all keywords. Yeah. Let's go and get those. Let's get them on one of these. And then go and ask the questions in the group if you have them. There's nobody in the group that's competition to you, so you feel free to ask it on the group. So generally speaking, I don't like people talking about the keywords on the group if there's potential competition.
Right. Okay. Yep.
So go ahead. And then let's talk these through. Think about some ideas, and then how to do that, and what your next keyword. So what your long tail, what your medium tail, and go through those, and we can look at all those for you. And then basically gives you your first set of blog posts that should be going.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
All righty.
Cool.
Okay. Look at us go.
That went pretty good. I mean,
It was.
Bark,
Yeah.
No one knocked on the door. That's why. That's the thing. That's the thing about doing these from home, not a hot desk, is that all that stuff's a risk.
Riskier. Like I got a few interruptions, but they're all good. All right. Well, I shall look at all that, and I've got some other content ideas that I've put together as well. So we'll see how we can merge them all together.
The idea, though, about exactly this, the content ideas, is that you have your content calendar, okay, and the thing about content calendar, it can't be ideas, because the problem with ideas is that they kind of, if you have too many ideas, you kind of get scuppered. I don't know which ones to do first. The idea behind having the keyword research, so in here, the keyword research is that throw in all the ideas, just throw them in.
Yep.
Yeah. And then when you throw them in, you might have hundreds in here, which is probably the idea. And then you just go and say, well, it's a low competition, it's a block. Boom. It's medium competition, it's a block. And then all of a sudden you have a set, you start to put them into structure, you structure them and sort of categorize them and say, well, these are targeting this keyword. Fine. Okay, cool. We have our cluster of 10. Boom, let's go to work. Yeah. Or you have a big one and then it builds the rest, which is probably the way it would normally work. You just throw your keyword ideas in there so that the ideas, you don't lose them. You don't forget about them. But at the same time, they're not sitting in the calendar, because we have to do these, because that can be very overwhelming. When you see all these keywords, which ones do I start with? Let's not do that. I think this one's probably a good idea. Let's discuss that one. Okay, fine. That's a good one. Boom. Okay, let's write it. That's that in our in our calendar. That is the one you're going to focus on, versus having all these in your face. It's too much. We have these. We can think about it. We can strategize. We can discuss it. It makes way more sense to do it. It just pulls it out of the direct line of sight. It's nowhere near as overwhelming. Whereas the content calendar that's very structured, organized, and on a timeline and a time frame, much easier.
All right. Are you able to send me that link to this program, the Orca?
Yeah, it's all in there. It's all in the course. But I will if you I'll drop you a message with it anyway, and I'll link it to you.
Okay.
You can have a look.
All right. Okay. Brilliant. All right. And then I'll try and get back and look at the other content that you've recorded and put up.
What project management suite do you use?
Asana.
You can do it in Asana. There's no problem. I mean, happy to send this. You can do it in here too. Personally, it's fine. It's template's done. But Asana, you can do it too, because then it works through your entire network. In that sense, all the right people are already in there along those lines. But you can do it too, but exactly the same way. Asana has boards, doesn't it? Sorry? Asana has boards, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
Yeah, so they have Cabana in there too. So you can set it up in there, just follow the template, and I'll walk you through the template. And then that is it. You can set the tasks up, you can set the timelines up, and then you can also, in case of, well, team, guys, I'm writing content or I'm researching content on these days, I can't take that on right now. It helps you in that way, in a big way, because people do not realize what goes into a blog post. They don't realize that
it's huge.
Every blog post is just as much time writing as there is researching. Yeah, so you can put that into your timeline. On Mondays, I'm researching and I'm writing, and Tuesdays I'm writing. So every day you come in, this is what I'm going to be doing. Blah blah blah. It's in your diary then. on your, and everyone knows I can't make that. Don't put meetings in that day because I can't do that. But that being said, I will send you Aura, and I'm happy to walk you through Aura too.
Yeah, all right. Well, let me have a look, and I'll have a look at Asana and just see what I'm more familiar with, what's going to be easier to manage.
Yep. Cool.
Okay. Awesome.
Fantastic. Any other questions?
No, that's it. Thank you.
Cool.
All right.